Bang.
I ain't taking nothing but win.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Unscripted Sports Show. Money E here, back with another edition of college football, conference championship week. Yes, I did this early in the week, but I'm doing this over again because I messed up in that video. So I'm doing this over. I messed up on the rankings, on my rankings, and I forgot to do my best bet. So I'm doing this over. So I might say some stuff that are the same, might not, but here we are. Conference championship week. Let's go over how I did last week. Week 14. No, week 14. Yep, right here. I went 1-4 last week. The only one I got right was Texas beating A&M. I lost on the Michigan beating Ohio State. I lost on Oregon losing to Washington. I lost on Vandy beating Tennessee, and I lost Auburn beating Alabama. The 1-4 last week, 31-29 in the season. Best bets, I went 1-1, and I'm 6-10 on the season. And so I won't forget. I'll do the best bets last or after this. But the first game here, I will share the screen so we can preview it. The American Athletic Conference Championship, the AAC, between North Texas and Tulane. This is the win and get in playoff game. The winner will get the, depending on Virginia and Duke, they'll either be the fourth or fifth. They'll be the fourth if Virginia, according to the rankings, which I will talk about later, the committee rankings. My rankings don't matter. My rankings are my rankings, but according to the committee's rankings, Tulane's ahead of JMU in the rankings. So the winner of this, and North Texas is ahead. The winner of this will be the fourth seed. Not the fourth seed. The fourth conference ranked champion. Fourth ranked conference champion if Duke wins. If Virginia wins. No. If Duke wins, they'll be the fourth. If Virginia wins, they'll be the fifth. So the winner of this will either be the fourth or fifth ranked conference champion, depending on Virginia and Duke. If Virginia wins, they'll be the fifth. Duke wins, they'll be the fourth. And then there's people think there's controversy between Duke and JMU who gets in. I don't, but I'll get to that later. As far as this game, this is going to be tonight. I'm doing this. It's in a couple hours. Conference. Wait. Hold on. Let me find it. Right here. I have North Texas winning. I think they're the better team right now. Even though Tulane is at home, Tulane is 39th overall in offense, 47th in passing, and 51st in rushing, 31st against the run, 119th against the pass, and 54th overall in defense. So let's see. I want to change. Sorry, I had to fix the screen, so I had to pause it for a minute. So North Texas, they are number one in offense. 68th in defense, pass, 128th against the run, 43rd, 40th in rushing, and second in passing. So they are an air raid team. They love to pass the ball. That's their game. Listen, the weather is going to be bad. This isn't Tulane, so they don't play on neutral site in this in American League, American Conference. Checking the weather. Right now it's 52 degrees. I don't know if it's going to rain, but as of right now, it's 52. So, yeah, this is going to be a good game. As I said, let me bring up my score again. I have North Texas winning. What's the score? 34-27 in the shootout. I mean, weather is bad, then yeah, this is going to be a shit scoreline. But I think North Texas pulls it out and they win 34-27. Moving on to the Big 12 championship tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. The Big 12 championship, BYU, Texas Tech, the rematch. They met a month ago. Texas Tech won 29-7. Outgained them by 110, 120 yards. So they dominated, but they didn't dominate by yards. They won on the scoreboard 29-7. I think BYU gets revenge here. It's on a neutral site, even though it's in Texas. I think it's going to be about 60-40, 55-45 split crowd favor Texas Tech. But I think BYU pulls it out this time and wins the Big 12 championship. Texas Tech still makes the playoff. And I don't think BYU might squeeze it out and get by the last seed. Because I do think there is a great chance, there's probably more of a chance that the loser of Indiana and Ohio State still gets a bye week because they're both 12-0. So I think that's a very likelihood that the loser of Ohio State and Indiana, which we'll get to in a couple minutes, that the loser of that will still get a bye. That might push out the Big 12 winner. I don't know. Depends. No, that might put the Big 12 winner as number 4, depending on who it is. So Texas Tech, 4th in offense, 6th in defense, 27th against the pass, 1st against the run, 24th in rushing, and 8th in passing. So they are a balanced team on offense, and they're great against the run and defense. Fairly good against the passer. They're a balanced team. Texas Tech is, to me, one of the best teams in this country. They are a top 5, top 4 team. They are exactly what they are, a top 4 team. If they lose, they'll probably get number 5. If they win, they'll get number 3. Or no, I would say they're number 2, depending on who. If Georgia wins. No, it depends. Yeah, I think they get number 2 if they win. And if they lose, they get number 5. We'll get to my ranking later. Now I'll be picked to win. They are 22nd against the in offense, 29th in defense, 46th against the pass, 29th against the run, 23rd in rushing, and 77th in passing, which is really rare for BYU because they're usually good in passing. They used to be a very good passing team back in the day. So yeah, next game. So now to the big game, the SEC championship game, the one that everybody's looking forward to. Um, hold on. The SEC championship game, another rematch, Alabama versus Georgia. Um, how many times have they played in the SEC championship game last year? Besides last year, Alabama beat them 24-21 in Anson, Georgia, or in Georgia. About month and a half, a month ago. I forget how many weeks ago, but they beat them 24-21. I think Georgia gets the revenge here, just like BYU. It's hard to beat a team twice in one season, so I'm going with Alabama here. I mean, not Alabama. I'm going with Georgia here. So I clicked on the link to preview it. It didn't load up. So Alabama, good old roll tie roll, and we'll talk about their rankings by the committee with this absolute bull crap. 12th in defense, 32nd, 17th, 104th in rushing, against the pass. So Alabama comes in here having beating Auburn last week in the Iron Bowl, barely beating them. It went for it on fourth down, got a touchdown, got the lead, and Auburn couldn't tie it. Which, yeah. Well, I'll get to Alabama later. More about Alabama later, and my tirade and them. Now Georgia, the team I picked to win the national championship in the preseason. I'm still kind of picking them. We'll get when they get to the playoff. I'll reveal my winner. I haven't necessarily decided yet. 40th in offense, 13th in defense, 44th against the pass, 6th against the run, 28th in rushing, and 68th in passing. So good old Georgia and good old Alabama. Should be another nasty, hard fought game. Now to the other big one. Ohio State and Indiana. The battle of 12-0. Ohio State, Indiana, 12-0 each. They didn't meet in the regular season, obviously. Both 12-0. They both dominated all season. Indiana had this blemish against the Penn State, but they survived. Ohio State, their closest game was maybe Texas. They've been dominating all year. Same thing with Indiana, besides that one game. So Ohio State comes in as the best defense in the country. First against the pass, fourth against the run. Obviously, because they're number one. 24th in offense, 28th, 25th in passing, and 53rd in rushing. Indiana. They're just as good. Fifth in top five in offense and defense. Fifth in offense. Fourth in defense. 14th against the pass. Second against the run. So both these teams are good against the run. And then 9th in rushing and 41st in passing. Ohio State was first in rushing. No, that was Texas Tech. Their first in rushing. They're first in passing. So that's interesting. Ohio State is not a good run team, so they're going to pass. And Indiana is a better passing team, but that's Ohio State's strength. The game's in Indianapolis. This is basically a home game for Indiana. I still think Indiana's going to lose this game. I think the spotlight is going to be too much. I mean, I can't say that. I mean, Ohio State, I think, wins 24-14. They're national champions. I think they want to go undefeated. I think they want to go undefeated. I think they want to have a perfect season, be the first 16-0 team, be the first team to win the. Be, They were the first team to win the 14 playoff, I believe. I don't remember. I think they were under Urban Meyer. That was the 14 playoff, I believe. I could be wrong on that. I'll probably get corrected on that or whatever. But they were the first 12-team playoff champion. They want to be the first 16-0 champion. So that's the Big Ten championship. That's my score, 24-14. I put it up twice already. But yeah. Now to the ACC champion. Duke and Virginia. Why do I have that? So, Virginia, 21st in defense, 43rd against the pass, 21st against the run, 26th in offense, 32nd in passing, and 33rd in rushing. That's pretty well balanced. Virginia has had a good season, 2 losses, best team in the ACC, but that's not saying much because Miami was there too, and they might not even get in. And I think it's crazy that they're not playing in the ACC championship game, even though they were tied with Duke. I forget how Duke won the tiebreaker. I think it was like three-way tie for second. Let me check that. I think there was a three-way tie for second. And ACC standing. There was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-way tie for second. After SMU lost. 5-way tie for second. And somehow Duke won the tiebreaker. I think it should go to the team with the most wins. And that would be Miami. Out of those 5 teams, that would be Miami. I think the tiebreaker should go to the team that won the most games. Has most total wins. Not just in conference. If there's more than a two-way head, if it's two-way tie, then you go to head-to-head. If they don't play each other, then you go to record. And if that's tied, then you go to the strength of schedule, and then whatever, and then common opponents. Then you go to whatever after that. If it's more than 2, then you have to go to the best record. And if all 3 of them are tied, then you go to common opponents. If they all have same common opponents and all won, then you go to strength of schedule, and then you go to percentage, whatever. And then, yeah, I think Miami got Duke, and I hate Miami. I'm not a Miami fan. I'm a Gator fan, as you saw before. Saw my thing before, but I am a Gator fan, so I think it's kind of crappy that they got a raw deal there. But let's bet. One last week. The best bet.
Bang.
The best bet. The first best bet in the Mountain West Championship game, Boise State and UNLV. I got the over 58.5. I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be a good game. I think there's going to be snow, but I think it's going to be a shootout. I do. I think UNLV's defense is awful. Boise State can score. They have the quarterback back. He's been rusty. He needs to be rusty, but I see this as a high scoring game, probably in the 30s. So that should get it over. So that's my first best bet. Second best bet is conference championship. Best bet BYU and Texas Tech. I got over 49.5. I think this is going to be a shootout too. In Lubbock, not in Lubbock, but in Dallas. I think this is going to be a hard-nosed fought game. I know Tech is great defense, but I see this as a shootout. Big 12 championship on line. We're both teams looking to win their first championship in the Bill. I think BYU's first conference championship and Texas Tech first Big 12 championship. I don't know if they won a conference championship before, but yeah, so those are my best bets. Another best bet I probably like is Georgia. I might give away more on in the short if you fix that. I also like Troy plus 23.5 as a sneaky bet, but that's not official. It's a lean. I like Georgia 2.5 as a lean. And I like Virginia alternate line. I'm gonna say alternate spread. I wanna say what's the highest alternate spread? Whatever the highest is. Wow. All the way up to 28.5. I'm gonna say because I have them winning 31 what 31-10 I think. Yeah, 31-10. So I will go as high as 20.5. So that's plus 470 as a bet. Not an official bet, but this is not even the best bet, but yeah. On to the committee's pitiful rankings, jumping Alabama ahead of Notre Dame and moving Notre Dame down, which they didn't even play a game. And they played against Stanford, never mind. Alabama struggled against Auburn and they moved Alabama up to number 9. That's because even if they lose, they're probably 99%. I'm not gonna say they're fully in like everybody else, but I think they're 99%. That means they're 99% in. Unless they lose by 40, then maybe that's a way they can be out. If they lose by 30 plus, or even 20, even if they lose by 21 plus. If Georgia just dominates the game and they lose their quarterback, so. I'm not hoping that happens. I'm just saying that's probably the only way Alabama is out is if they lose their quarterback to injury or one of their key players to injury and they get blown out. But they're ranked number 9. Notre Dame's 10, BYU's 11, and Miami's 12. Those 3 teams, Alabama, Notre Dame, BYU, Miami are probably fighting for one spot. And then you got Virginia. If they win, they'll be the 4th. And if Tulane wins, they'll be the 5th. I'll get to my rankings. I don't have Tulane ahead of me. I'll get to it. But if Duke wins, Tulane will probably be 4th. And I would say, by the rankings, I see JMU will be 5th if they win. If they don't win, then UNLV will be the one that gets that spot. So it looks like BYU is going to get screwed again, like last year, if they lose. So they're in a must win. That's why I picked them. They know that they need to win. They need to win more than Texas Tech. I think they're going to play harder. Not Texas Tech's not going to play hard. I think BYU is going to do whatever it takes to get in because they don't want any questions left unsaid. They want to be in by winning the conference championship. So that way, there's no controversy. That way, they're not left out by some bullshit SEC team like Alabama that is ahead of them, even though BYU has a better record and played just road games. So
Bang. I ain't taking nothing but win.
I don't know why that keeps doing that. But the rankings: number 1, Ohio State; number 2, Indiana; Georgia 3, Texas Tech 4. So the winner of Indiana and Ohio State will be number 1, and the loser, depending on how much they lose by, could still get the bye week. And they'll probably be number 2 or 3. Now, if everybody wins in the top 4 besides the winner of, obviously, the loser of Indiana and Ohio State, I think you can make a case that it stays this way. But if Ohio State wins, Ohio State's number 1, and then if Texas Tech wins, I have Texas Tech number 2. I think Texas Tech should jump Georgia. I'll get to my ranking for this week, but I'm just saying in this scenario, if Ohio State wins, Texas Tech wins, Georgia wins, I think it's Ohio State, Texas Tech, Indiana, Georgia. I know you don't drop Georgia, but I think Indiana deserves to be ahead of Georgia, and Texas Tech should be ahead of the loser of the Big Ten. If Texas Tech wins, I think they should be number 2, and the loser of Ohio State, Indiana should be number 3. There you go. And then Oregon number 5, Ole Miss 6, A&M 7. I have A&M. I have A&M. Well, I'll get to that. A&M 7, Oklahoma 9, 8, Alabama 9, which is bullshit. Notre Dame 10, BYU 11, and Miami 12, Texas, Vandy, Utah, USC, blah blah blah. Look, they're not getting in. So now to my rankings. Now to my rankings. To my rankings. Yeah. So I have last week I had Ohio State, A&M, Indiana, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Georgia, Oregon, Oklahoma, BYU, Notre Dame, James Madison, Virginia. And yes, I know I did a video earlier in the week. As I said earlier in the beginning of the video, I messed up on the rankings. I messed up on who I should have took out. So, and I messed up on some other stuff in the video. So that's why I decided to do this over, and the other one will be vanished. So I knew this week's number 5 rankings. This is not the 5th rankings. Next week we the final one. So I have Ohio State, Indiana, Texas Tech, Georgia number 4, A&M number 5. See, I have A&M number 5. They only lost one game. I have Ole Miss 6, Oregon 7, Oklahoma 8, BYU 9. Instead, who I had was Notre Dame, but I took them out. BYU 9 because I don't think BYU should be. If you're not gonna penalize, if I'm not gonna penalize Alabama for that, I should have just kept BYU at number 9 and took out Notre Dame, which I did, and I replaced Alabama with Notre Dame. I replaced Notre Dame with Alabama. So I took Notre Dame out and replaced Alabama at number 10. I should have just kept BYU, and that's what the mistake I made, which I probably meant to make. I probably meant to keep BYU in, wasn't thinking, and I took out BYU instead of Notre Dame. Then I have Alabama number 10, and then James Madison number 11, and Virginia number 12. Yeah, for me, I have James Madison ahead. I know they're not ahead in committee's rankings, top 25, but I have them ahead of Tulane. I have them ahead of Tulane. I have them ahead of Virginia. I think they're a good team. But then here's the projected rank. In the bottom. So the projected matchups: Virginia, Texas A&M. I think this would be a good matchup. Um, Virginia, this is an ACC team versus an SEC team. Virginia would travel to Texas, face A&M. It would be a tough environment to play in, but I think they can. I think A&M would probably win. I think it would be an interesting matchup, to say the least. The next matchup. Where do I have this off? Hold on. I should only have 20 seconds. In this matchup, I have James Madison and Ole Miss. Now, this should be interesting, too. It's a Sun Belt versus SEC team, which Ole Miss will probably dominate. But yeah, I have James Madison, and James Madison is the fourth highest ranked team, conference winner, and Virginia is the fifth. And I'll give my rankings where I have BYU winning and Georgia winning. But this is the rankings before the conference championship game. So, before my predictions, Alabama and Oregon. No, no, Alabama. Wait, Alabama and Oregon. There we go. Alabama and Oregon. That's 10 versus 7. This should be an interesting game. Really interesting. So, yeah. And then the last one, BYU and Oklahoma, which would be a great game. So I want to go over some scenarios where BYU wins. Where would the top four be? Ohio State, Indiana winner, number 1. Uh, Georgia, and this is with Georgia winning. Georgia number 2, Indiana number 3, BYU number 4, Texas Tech number 5, A&M number 6, Ole Miss number 7. So I would move everybody down if that happened. Oregon number 8, Oklahoma number 9, Alabama 10, and this is Virginia winning, and then James Madison number 11 and Virginia number 12. Now, if Duke wins and BYU wins, then this would be the rankings. And I would do one with Alabama. Ohio State, Indiana winner, Georgia, and this was BYU and Duke winning. So Georgia number 2, Indiana, Ohio State loser number 3, BYU 4, Texas Tech 5, A&M 6, Ole Miss 7, Oregon 8, Oklahoma 9, Alabama 10. Yes, Miami and Notre Dame would be out. That's the only way you could do it. If you're gonna have Notre Dame in it, you're gonna have to have Miami in it. The committee has Notre Dame ahead of Miami, which I have had for the last 4 weeks, and then I finally decided to take them out because Alabama won, and yeah. And then number 11 would be James Myers, and number 12 would be the winner of Tulane and North Texas. Now, if Alabama wins, number 1 would be Ohio State, Indiana winner. Number 2 would be, and this would still be with BYU. There you go, BYU winning. Number 2, I think would be, depending on how they lose, I think it would be Indiana and Ohio State loser number 2. And then number 3 would be, number 3. Number 3 would have to be Alabama. Number 3 would have to be Alabama. Number 4, I would put BYU. And then number 5 would be A&M. Number 6 would be Texas Tech. Number 5 would be A&M. Number 6 would be because number 5 number 5 would be Tech. Number 6 would be A&M. Oh no, if Alabama wins, then I have the Georgia. Number 3 would be Alabama. Number 4 would be BYU or Georgia. Number 3 would be Alabama. Number 4 would be BYU. Number 5 would be Texas Tech. Number 6 would probably be Georgia. Number 7 would be A&M. Number 8 would be Ole Miss. Number 9 would be Oregon. Number 10 would be Oklahoma. I don't know. Yeah, well, that would be weird. Number 10, and then yeah. There's so many scenarios where I could go through. But I think the most likely scenario is Virginia winning. I think BYU wins still. And then BYU gets in the top 4, I guess. Yeah, that's with Georgia winning. I think Texas Tech wins. I think they're number 2. BYU wins. They're in the top 4, but I think they're number 4. And then number 3 would be the loser of Indiana, Ohio State. Number 2 would be Georgia. Yeah, that's the Georgia win. It could even be Alabama if it's Alabama. But yeah. But with that said, I got nothing else. Listen to Wrestling Through the Years. We'll be doing version of F Mary Kill. Instead of that, it's in wrestling version of F Mary Kill. It's Book Push Fire. So check that out at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Wrestling Through the Years for myself, Doug, Daniel, and Cleniff. We're doing that. We'll be going live in probably about an hour. I'm going to be doing a Premier League preview. I haven't done that. I've done shorts for that, but I'm going to do one in a minute here after this video. So check that out. And I'll see you later. Back in a few minutes.